course, today we're going to talk about the U90 Classic a bit again, as we've been trying to update you guys on this big event that's coming up. July, what's the date, Luke?
July 23rd.
July 23rd, yeah. So it's sneaking up on us. It's 4 months away from us now, and I know it feels like the last time we talked it was 6, but without any further ado, Luke Davies.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, Luke. Listen, this it's getting close, obviously, and everybody's excited about this event. The qualifier is over, right? Did we figure out who those guys were? I thought that was announced the other day.
Yeah, qualifier is over. Invites have been sent out to the. I ended up taking 6 because 6th place was so close to 5th in terms of the point spread and stuff like that. It didn't seem fair to not invite him when he was like maybe 2 seconds behind on the Farmer's Hold, and that's what the difference was. So I was like, no, I'll take 6. As it happened, taking that 6 has given us a nice round number anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good to go. We have the full roster now. So.
And how many guys total we have in that roster right now?
We have 30 guys.
30. Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
So
that'll be a good deep show.
Big number.
Guys are looking at that going, okay, no mistakes, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it's a big number.
I was talking to John Hack today. I mentioned I put that interview out.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned that the weights of the events are coming soon.
Yes.
And when should everybody anticipate those, Luke?
They should be out within the next week. I'm just chatting to a few guys whose opinions I trust, just to get some feedback. More from guys who are actually competing in the 90s and the 105s, sort of internationally, get their opinions before I confirm it, rather than just trying to pick them all myself. Be talking to Aaron Fondry and a few other guys whose opinions I value. They're helping me decide on the weights. So just within the next week.
Well, that's just dialing it in. That's attention to detail, really, and it's good to hear that. I know that you've ultimately talked about the weights being world class. I mean, we're not talking about any lightweight here. So when you're talking about heavyweights that I know you're going to put on that event sheet, you definitely want to make sure they're dialed in respectively, because the last thing we want to do is see half a field zero in. But like you had mentioned, the other thing we don't want to see is 1,000 reps either. So, not an easy task. That's what I'm getting at here, to explain this to people. It's very difficult.
It's tough because when you have, say, John Hack in the show, who deadlifts 900 pounds raw, he's going to find most weight. If I put a weight that would challenge John, half the field would zero.
Yeah.
Like John could probably do 10 reps with 750 fucking pounds or something crazy. Doesn't mean it's an appropriate weight.
So you almost discount that guy, right? When you're thinking about weight, sometimes you kind of got to discount him, don't you?
You kind of have to. It's the same with Shane German on the log.
Yeah.
If I went with Shane's weights, I'd have to make it 350 pounds for reps.
I get you.
Do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to take those outliers out. You have to take out the top couple, and I would say you have to take out the bottom couple as well, because you can't worry about. Yeah, you don't want loads of people to zero, but a couple of zeros might have to happen. So you kind of have to discount the outliers when picking the weights, I think. So the same for me whenever I go to a 105 show.
I want to expound on that for a minute, Luke. I want to expound on that for just a minute, because when we're talking about weights for these shows, is this a normal practice for you in the shows that you promote, to research your athletes like you research your athletes, to ensure that you're getting that weight dialed in to make for a great competition? Because I know a lot of promoters don't do that. They essentially have the weights just, and I get it, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to those promoters, even 30 guys is a ton of guys to kind of look at every bit of what they're capable of. But at a higher level show like your show, let's just say Clash and others like that, because I was recently there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or WSM. Is it a normal practice with promoters to look at that from a perspective of what athletes are coming in, to make sure it's a challenging enough weight, but at the same time not too easy?
It should be, in my opinion.
I would guess that,
It's one of the good things about having the online qualifier, in that I could see what sort of rep range the guys who are doing, who are just trying to qualify. And obviously they might not be as strong as the guys who've already invited. And for example, so we had 595 in the deadlift for the online qualifier, and we had multiple guys hit double figures. So therefore, you can probably guess that the show is going to be heavier than 600 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? So
yep.
I think it's hard with a lot of shows because you might not know who's coming in advance. But with this, with obviously having the roster 4 months out and not actually having picked the weights yet, it's allowing me to do my research saying, I want this many people to get this many reps. I want this many reps to win. Or I want to... I don't want too many zeros. So if I get 4 or 5 zeros, then so be it. But I don't want 15 zeros in the deadlift.
Yeah, it just makes for better competition and a better production because nobody wants to see that anyhow. So, yeah, it's a fine line you're walking. I think we'll get a lot of purists out there that would say, oh, well, fuck all that. Just make the weights heavy if they could do it or not. But ultimately, what's that leading to as far as promoting the sport? Nothing. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might be cool to watch John smash out 750 pounds. It might be cool to watch Shane German strict press 350 for 405.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be cool watching 10 guys before they fail it.
No.
And it's a strength sport, and we want to find the strongest guy, but it's also entertainment, and it also has to be fun for people to watch.
Well, I think maybe you're once again, Luke, setting a precedent here that maybe needs to be replicated a little bit. And I'm not suggesting any show that I could think off the top of my head, but it's just another layer of a good promotion that's going to lead to a better product for people to spectate and a product to sell, our sport, of course. So, yeah, that's awesome. Well, good. That's good to hear, and that's some good information. Where's the prize pool at right now, Luke, and how's the sponsorships coming?
The prize pool, talk about 1 second. Just doing some conversions because I don't speak dollars.
Oh, that's correct. That's right. I'm sure those pounds are all at $2 more or $1 more.
I don't have it on hand. I think it's around $7,500.
Okay, 7,500 or so, give or take.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah.
Hopefully now that I have the full roster as well, I can go ham on the promotion. And
I was going to ask that. So that's gonna be start coming out as well. You and Derek are working on that.
Yes. So it's quite hard to promote a show when you don't know who's competing. So even though I sent invites out, a lot of them weren't accepted yet, or they hadn't confirmed they were coming. So now that we have the full roster, we can go full steam ahead. We can have some promo videos. We can have, promo posters. We can have interviews with the athletes. Like obviously I'll give you the list of athletes after we're finished here, and you can get in touch with them. We can start really getting the ball rolling in terms of promotion. So up until now, the sponsors, there wasn't really a lot for us to post about. Whereas now that we have the roster, next week we'll have the events, we'll have the weights. We can really start to get, full steam ahead now in terms of promo.
Well, it's perfect timing too. Listen, we're 4 months out, and that's about the time you want to gear things up.
Yeah, 100%.
To go hard into the show, and you're not burning people out on it too soon either. Everybody's getting excited, and generally that's a training block for most of these guys. That 4 month window.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready for this show. So yeah. That's,
before now, they probably wouldn't have been training the events anyway because it's too far out. Yeah. Now hopefully we can get some good footage. We can get some promo going. Maybe start stirring the pot between a couple of the guys on social media.
Yes. I'll take care of that for you, Luke.
So yeah,
stir the pot a little bit. I like to do that. It's getting fun. That CJ Kraus called everybody out at the Brothers restaurant in Columbus. Boy, I wish you could have been a fly on the wall for that one, and everybody else out there. You can't shut that guy up. I mean, literally, I had to like black out a lot of stuff that he said on my notes because I just didn't even feel comfortable saying it. I'm pretty toxic. CJ was just all over the place.
Well, Rhiannon's out in Denver in June. So maybe she can get some footage of CJ talking some shit. And
I'm going to for you. Yeah, I will. And Tyler just did this with his shoulder too.
Yeah.
He just flicked it right off his shoulder. He wasn't worried at all. But I know Tyler likes that kind of stuff, and it's going to be fun with this roster now because we're really going to see a lot of plot lines kind of develop, and I can't wait to see it and get it from you. And, of course, I'll get on it right away. But what else do we have to talk about Lithium St. Anne over there? Anything else you want to pass along to the competitors, spectators, anything with travel, anything of that nature?
The venue is all sorted now. I'm actually going to go see it next week to try and scope it out. Because I don't know if I told you this, but the venue hadn't been finished because it's a big sports arena. Yep. It hadn't actually been finished getting built, but it's finished now, so I can go see that next week. You know, scope out the dimensions, how I'm going to sort of set out the arena. With regards to travel, I've spoken to most of the guys and trying to help them where I can. Anybody who wants to come watch it, it's a super easy place to get to. It's got a train station about 2 minutes away. It's only an hour and a half away from Manchester Airport if anybody wanted to fly over. We did announce yesterday as a bonus, I don't know if you saw it, we'll be having some record attempts at the half-time of the Classic as well. So similar to
Yeah, I did see that tease about the heavyweight women's deadlift record.
Yeah.
Can we share her name?
Not yet. Rihanna wants to keep teasing people for a few more days.
Oh boy, come on, Ree. This is just too much now.
I will say that she got in contact with us, asked us if it was something we'd be interested in, and we were like, "Yeah, of course."
That's a big one. Of course, we know we all love that deadlift record in all classes.
So yeah, I am looking at maybe adding one or two others as well. Still talking to a few guys, so that's something that's also going to be there. Maybe if you're not a fan of, if you just like big lifts as opposed to the full comp, it'd be worth coming just for that. So we will have a few record attempts going down at the halftime show as well. So,
Luke, cool. Is it? Are you opening your phone line to suggestions for that? Are you reaching out to the community saying if somebody wants to get in touch with you to discuss it?
100%. I've got. This is going to sound. I've got loads of stuff going on, so I'm not purposely looking for people. But if someone wants to work with us and get involved, then send me a message, and I'm sure we can.
I'll make sure I put that out there as well. Then, so just to be clear, anybody that wants to break a big strongman record and wants to do it in the beautiful seaside village of Lithium St. Anne during this U90 Classic show, then get a hold of Luke Davies. Okay, you got it.
Do you want the roster now?
Yeah, if you want to just go over the names real quick, loud and clear, and at least everybody will have them on their ride home or at the gym while they're working out, kind of thing. So why don't you give them to me?
So bear with me while I read out 30 names.
Just nice, loud and clear.
We have Tyler Davis, Gavin McNamee, Dan Benson, Nick O'Hare, Benjamin Mashala, Sibe Janssen, Liam Hale, Shane Jaman, Mark Cummins, Mike Dell, that's 10. Then we have Lee Shaw, Sean Pope, Lee Osmond, Tyler Young, John Hack, Keith Cherry, Simon Peplinski, Nikolai Myers, Ben Donin, Volker Bauer. Then we have CJ Krause, Derek Owens, Cameron Peters, Mario Sild, Jim Mitchell, Craig Smith, Andrew Papiot, Harry Rogers, Brandon McNamara, and Michael Ramirez. So I think we have about 10 countries maybe represented. So it's a proper international show. We've got America, Canada, England, Ireland, Scotland, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, France, Estonia, and Australia. So it's a fully international
show. Sounds
like
a world contingency.
Yeah, 100% from three different continents.
And we love to hear that. It's not too often that we're able to see a show like that at this level. Certainly, and I forgot Nick Myers is in this show.
Yeah, Nick is confirmed now. Nick was Wasn't sure if he'd be able to make it originally, but Nick's confirmed he's coming. He's coming over. Yeah, it's.
Oh wow, that just added another layer to all this, didn't it? Holy shit. Okay, and Shane Germain's getting a ton of love over there right now.
Yeah,
I've gotten some early picks from people that are getting a hold of me on the back end of things, going, "This is who I got. This is who I got." You know, I obviously you got to play it kind of by the straight and narrow, but it's interesting the way now we're starting to get some people being called out here as to where we think that podium's going to be. And I could tell you, not a lot of names are being replicated right now.
That's the beauty of this show, I think, is you could run this show 5 weekends in a row, and not only would you have a different winner, you might have a different top 5 every time.
Yeah,
because
that's a fact.
Like, there's no. When I say there's no standard, I don't mean there's no world-class guys. I just mean there's so many guys at that level that picking a winner. I'm glad I'm not going to be doing a prediction show for this one. That's all I'm going to say.
No, you can't do that. We know. No. I don't even know if I'm going to have CJ and I can't use Nick. I'll use CJ though because I know he's going to want a part of it in some way, shape, or form, and he's he can articulate himself pretty well with that. And we'll get panned on, of course, and we'll make sure we do that. But you know what else I'm going to do for this show? And it's not going to be easy either, is going through all the titles of all these guys. Wouldn't that be a hell of a spreadsheet to see every title of all these guys that are competing in your show?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You'd probably be there all day because the accolades and the CVs.
Yeah, it's truly.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Well, hey, Luke, I know we got a lot of good information we're going to pass along here. I got a question for you. What do you think about the Clash results? You got any opinion on that? Did you have a chance to see those results? Check out any of that footage?
Yeah, I watched Clash. I watched the whole weekend. Really enjoyed it. Clayton winning is what I expected. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, truly.
Like he was only third going into the last event. He had to pull it out of the bag on the stones. Yeah, it was great. There was a few surprises, I thought, with people I thought would challenge for the top 3 and didn't even make it to the final. Like I thought Jesse Nelson would be right up there, didn't make it through. I know there was a lot of injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. 82's women's was really, really good, I thought. Great standard. Yeah, it was a really, really good weekend.
Yeah, I thought the 105 show in particular, it really got us an opportunity to see maybe some guys that wouldn't have been there otherwise with the injuries that I thought performed really well. And I know I've said it repeatedly over and over again. There's some really good young talent coming up in that 105 class right now.
Yeah,
that Vince Wilkinson and John Alimo is a beast, and so anyhow, it was a really different show from that perspective. Those injuries in that bicep, the bicep injuries for that tire, Luke. It's a bit of an anomaly, I think, right?
So this is just my opinion of why I think it happened. Is that I don't think tire flip is an inherently bad event. I think the issue is with the format of how the Clash heats work, in that it's just bang, 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 one event after each other. Some of the guys were going into tire flip more fatigued than they normally would be.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you know, when you're tired, you're fatigued, your technique breaks down a little bit faster. Like, I'm willing to bet none of the guys who tore their biceps did the tire first. As in, because every heat did the events in a different order, right? So one of the heats would have done tire first, one of the heats would have done tire second, one of the heats would have done tire as the third event, and so on.
That's interesting, yeah.
And I'd be willing to bet the group who had the tire first didn't tear their biceps, and it was the guys who did it after the deadlift event or after the carry or once they were already tired. So I would say it's probably not the best sort of event to have in that sort of format.
Yeah. From the mind of Luke Davies, guys. I mean, you come up with some stuff, Luke. Honest to God, I'm so curious now. I'm gonna go back and find out exactly if there was anybody in that first.
Yeah, find out
that didn't have it.
What order the guys who tore their biceps in did it?
Yeah.
Like when they did the tire flip, because I'd be interested to see whether that played a factor.
Yeah.
I know a few guys probably cut maybe cut too much weight, so they were still dehydrated, whether that played a factor. It's one of those things. It could have just been a little freak accidents, but that would be my guess. In the fast-paced nature of the show just led to more fatigue. Fatigue leads to crappy technique.
It seems a little too uncommon to see that many. You want to narrow it down to something or another. So you heard the big news, Luke, with Tyler Purdue and the Pro Strongman League. Very exciting. I know this has been kind of building for a while, and I made mention on my review today that kudos to Tyler for keeping the lid on it, because I know that was an exciting announcement, and nobody, take care of business first, and he got that done. What are your thoughts on the Pro Strongman League?
Well, I might have known in advance it was coming, but
I know you did. I know. That's why I'm saying that, Luke.
I think
all this information late now. I get left in the dark. The media guy doesn't find out shit till it's all done. But I do. So tell me what your thoughts are.
I think it's a great move. I think it's keeping the core principles of what made Clash good in the first place, in like the speed of the shows, the looking after the athletes, getting people paid, etc., while leaving behind some of the baggage that the Clash name has. Obviously, everybody knows now. I think about there's elements of drama with guys getting paid late, things like that. That's been dealt with now. I know the guys have been paid. Everyone who was owed money last year, that's all sorted.
Yep.
But stuff like that does leave some baggage, I think. So yeah, I think it's a great move.
Yeah, I think the opportunity was ripe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a perfect timing as well.
Yeah, I think the opportunity was ripe, and I also think you're right. Maybe just Clash served its purpose. It was an evolution of the sport. Yeah. I gave it all the props in the world for being just a groundbreaking sort of new way of doing strongman from a couple different production angles that allowed this sort of evolution to take place. And I'm with you 100%. I think the Pro Strongman League is exactly that, and I'm wishing it the best.
Well, 100% props to Clash. I feel like if Clash hadn't happened, the Kaos Classic probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I think a lot of things wouldn't have, right?
So 100%.
It really did start kind of an upheaval within this community.
Yeah, props to Anthony, props to TJ and everybody involved in the initial startup of Clash. It's kind of got the ball rolling for, pretty much everything we've seen over the last 2 years in terms of these standalone weight class shows. But yeah, I think it was the right move, the right time. I think it was fitting they did that last Clash event and the Clash name.
Yep.
And I agree with most of the reasons that Tyler gave for the name change in there. It's more brand recognition. It's going to help attract more mainstream attention. And you don't have to explain what Clash is anymore.
No, that's a fact. Yeah, that's true too, right? All that's important for the growth of the sport from a branding standpoint and a consumer standpoint. So yeah, I totally see that. I mean, the logo's cool, and I'm going to have Tyler on tomorrow myself because we all have questions now. I mean, now there's a flood of questions coming about how this is all going to be laid out. That's going to be a fun conversation. But I appreciate you joining me tonight, Luke. I'm going to get this out there immediately, and I know everybody's excited about the U90 Classic, #1 show this summer. And, of course, I'll be there and encouraging everybody else that can get a ticket to get over to Lithium St. Anne to do the same thing, because this show is going to be world-shattering, and I can't wait to see it. So thanks for joining me, Luke.
My pleasure. Thanks for seeing me again.
Okay, man.